What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Season 2 of Lyon Live. It's episode number 22. Of course, we're in FM 19, and today, as I've already said, we start the new season. It's going to be, well, off to a bang, I hope. We take on Nîmes, who are predicted to finish bottom of the league to start the season. The other games coming up today, newly promoted Brest. I believe they're newly promoted. They are a team who... they haven't got the highest in the way of pre-season predictions. They're predicted to finish 19th. We should hopefully beat them. And, also today we have got games against Dijon and also Monaco. We may also get to the game against Nantes. We'll have to see how things go. Of course, the transfer window is still open. If you've missed the last few episodes, I do recommend going and checking them out. There's plenty of FM content to devour, and it's been obviously a fairly busy summer. Of course, if you are enjoying the series, guys, let me know you are by dropping a like on it. And, well, today, let's do something different. Go down in the comments now. I don't care what you're watching on, be it your phone, your TV, whatever platform, device you're using to listen to my sumptuous voice. I want a pre-season prediction from you. I want you to predict where you think we're going to finish and who the star player for the season is going to be. Two things. You can write just a position, I guess, if you're feeling particularly lazy. But let me know that you're engaged and watching. You know how the YouTube stuff works. YouTube's like, hey, people like that video. They write comments on it, and it makes more people see it, and it is greatly appreciated. And also, I want to get a feel for how you guys think we can do. Honestly, going into this new season, I think second is where we should be. I think PSG spent a little bit more money than us in the summer. Obviously, if we just look at our board confidence, I believe the expectation this year is, if I'm not mistaken, to, well, get Champions League football. Yeah, indeed it is. So that is going to be a top 3 or 4 finish for us. That should be more than doable, in my opinion. I would like to try and challenge PSG again. In truth, I think to match last season's performance is going to be tricky. So actually, when I look at things here, part of me wants to say that my pre-season goal is just to try and get 96 points again. I think in other seasons that would be enough to win the league. It wasn't last year, so it doesn't really matter. But we have made some good additions to the team. And, well, just to give you a quick little recap. Of course, on the outs, we sold Marcel. We also sold Jordan Ferry. And then we loaned out a number of the younger players we brought in last year. Most of them going to teams in our division, which is great for their development. On the ins, plenty of big name signings here. Moreno joined us as a very, very good left back. We'll be starting there. Really, some good competition for Mendy at left back. Glenn Kamara, the Finnish player, has come in to play that kind of defensive midfielder position. I really like this guy as a backup kind of defensive midfielder. He's very, very well-rounded for a player of the wages that he's on. Lenglet, of course, we signed from Barcelona. A bit of a punt, this guy. The big transfer of the window, really. The fact we signed him for £8.5 million and he was the big transfer perhaps gives you an indication of, well, how small our spend really was this year. Of course, Barca brought him in the year before for more than 3 times the amount. He had a very poor year last year. We're going to hope that he can turn around his fortunes with us. Joris Gnagnon, that's Gnangon, answers on a postcard. I need a nickname for him. Maybe we just call him Joris. But good backup defender. Very, very good, actually. I really like his aerial ability. He's French. He's young. Could develop into a good, useful player for us. Of course, a few youngsters we've got in OJ. 15 years young. Incredible talent as a playmaker. Voisin Verdier. Again, another just crazily good talent, 15 years young, only just turned 15 as well. He has a lot of potential to live up to. And 2 players who we may well see in the first team. Danny Olmo joined us, of course, for less than £2.5 million. And we, of course, towards the end of last episode, brought in Marcus Rashford on loan. I see him very much as a great striking option for us. I think him and Dembele are going to be rivaling one another. Of course, worth just mentioning, last episode I said he didn't play last season. That was a lie. He did play last season. His form was awful. But we've got him in on a relatively inexpensive loan. I'm hoping he's going to just, be a fantastic impact sub for us on off the bench. In terms of our team for today's game, we have what I consider to be my best 11 here. So really what I should do right now is I should save this best 11 so that we have it kind of saved, I guess, for future reference. But yeah, we have pretty much a fully fit side. Toussaint is returning from injury. I can't really afford to risk him, so I'll bring in Lucas Romero, and then I think we'll put Glenn Kamara on the bench as that kind of backup defensive midfielder. Realistically, playing Nîmes today, I expect us to hammer them to start the season, hopefully get things off to a great start. and take things from there. Just to recap kind of the team, I guess, because we've not looked at the profiles in a few episodes. Of course, in goal, we're going to go with Lopez. Last year, he was the best goalkeeper in the league. I want more of the same this year from him. Just a tremendous, tremendous talent. I do wonder if a second choice goalkeeper might be something worth looking into in our team. It's perhaps one area where we just don't have the same strength and depth. At left back, of course, we have Moreno. He is going to be competing with Ferland Mendy, who had a long-term injury last year. I expect to see these guys kind of rotated around. At least to begin with, Moreno will, I think, get first pick. But of course, as the season goes on, if Mendy's playing well, he can force himself into first team contention. At centre-back, of course, Marcelo was the key player for us last year alongside Wallace. This year, at 32 years old, with some declining physicals, he's going to be more of a backup option, our third-choice centre-back, really. Our starters are going to be Lenglet, who, as I talked about, has a bit of a point to prove this year. And alongside him, we go with who I think was undeniably signing of the season last year, if not player of the season as well, Wallace, who has since then broken into the Brazil national team. 7.7 average rating last season for him, hoping for more of the same. Of course, at right back, we're going to be sticking with Kenny Tete. He was just top draw. In the midfield, we, of course, already have gone over to start alongside him, Ndombele, who has kicked up a little bit of a concern and a fuss about the lack of a new contract. He's going to be our go-to box-to-box midfielder. But he does want this new contract. He's got 4 years left on his current deal. I'm hoping it's just one of those things he's going to get over quickly, but time will tell. Lucas Romero does come into the first team today, broke into the Argentine national team over the summer, and played regularly for them. He looks like a very, very good kind of defensive midfielder, and that is where we're going to be looking to play him today as a ball winner. And you can see, just looking at him, he really does excel in this area of the pitch. Anyway, final third, things haven't really changed since we came to the club. It's going to be Memphis Depay out on the left. Didn't have the craziest season last year, but I'm hoping he can come good for us. Fekir and Bertrand Traore were definitely the standout players last year. Fekir contributed, you can see, 29 goals in 29 games, a 7.6 average rating for him. He was a match winner last year. Bertrand Traore also contributed massively, 16 goals, 7 assists for him, a 7.72 average rating. And up top, another player who is unsettled, like Ndombele, we have Moussa Dembele, who is injury prone, which is a little bit of a concern. But you can see here, last year, 12 goals in 33 games. Wasn't the craziest return. Of course, we have brought in Rashford in on loan. I feel like he is really going to be pushing Dembele in terms of the striking position. I think Dembele has to get the nod. But at the same time, in Rashford, I think we've got a very, very good impact sub, pacey striker, and someone who, if he does find some form, might force himself into first-team contention ahead of Rashford. Anyway, on the bench, we've got options. We've talked about Ferland Mendy, we've talked about Marcelo, Glenn Kamara as well. We've talked about, in the final third, though, a few attacking midfield options. Husam Aouar. He kicked up a fuss, as I said last episode, similar to Ndombele, wanted a new contract, didn't want to give it to him. Hopefully, he is going to be able to get over that and develop into potentially the Fekir successor. And then in the wide areas, we have Saint Maximin, who declined significantly over the summer. A tiny bit concerning for him. At 22 years old, though, a player with a ton of potential. Looks very, very good indeed. And of course, we also have Martin Terrier, who won European Golden Boy last year. And then kind of vanished for the second half of the season, in truth. I'm hoping he's going to reappear this year. We'll have to see how that plans out. Anyway, let's get into today's game. I'm excited for this. Rashford on the bench is definitely a player to keep an eye on if we need to bring him on, of course. We also have Joseph Martinez, who we brought in to be kind of the rival to Dembele in the striker department, but he really didn't set the world alight last year. I did offer him out. We had a few offers, but they weren't quite as high as I was hoping. So at least for now, Martinez is going to remain in the kind of, I guess, first team contention alongside Rashford and Dembele for the striker position. I'm someone who likes to kind of just pick their strikers off form. So, we'll give our players the first few games of the year. With us having an easier start to the season in these first two games, I'm hoping we can build confidence early on. And well, if Dembele could have scored that would have been ideal. We had a really good opportunity there. Nîmes holding on. That was a clear-cut chance from the corner. We probably should be banging that in. Perhaps it's just come a little bit too early into the season. Dembele not quite up to speed yet. Anyway, we are on the attack here. Ndombele, he can hit them from range. He may choose to have a go. Instead, he goes to Tete at right back, who crosses it in. Headed away, of course, Shadas playing for them today, our player. I guess by default, I didn't put in a cannot play against own club rules. So if he scores against us, it is going to be a little bit annoying. But at the same time, great to see one of our own players, playing in the first team of a team in our division. Hopefully, that is going to be a recurring trend with lots of the players we've elected to loan out, as we should have scored again there. Memphis Depay this time with it. I think it was actually Dembele who missed the previous opportunity with the pass through. Unfortunately for us, we just couldn't find the breakthrough, I guess. We might still have an opportunity here, although I can't help but feel it's the pointless highlight. Indeed it was. 15 minutes gone. They now have a set piece. It's whipped in. Start of last season, defensively we were great. Now we kind of trailed off as the season went on. But I do hope that we can, maybe have a similarly good defensive start to the season. And well, there we go. First goal of the season. It's for Memphis. A player who suffered numerous long-term injuries last year, really was poor and unfortunate as much as anything. I can't really blame him for it. I'm hoping that this year he's going to be able to stay injury-free and become as important as Fekir and Bertrand Traore were for us. And well, what better way to start than with a goal within the first 15 minutes of the season? In truth, it could be 3 or 4 by now, which makes it a little disappointing. But we'll hope now with that breakthrough we can maybe hit the ground running as well. Lucas Romero gets a goal for Fekir with an assist. Of course, Fekir last year, 29 assists or goals in 29 games. Contributed probably the most out of anyone just going forward. And well, he's done more of the same here. Edge of the box, but really the man of the moment is Lucas Romero. Just punts it in from range, not into the bottom corner. I don't know if Vorm could have done better in goal for them. But a quick fire double is great. And we have another chance here. Romero, edge of the box again. Surely not. Ndombele, Romero, have a go. He has a go. It's not gone that far wide, has it? Almost doubled his tally for the year. Another set piece. Is Fekir going to go to the edge of the box again? He's not. He's going to go to Wallace, who had a free header. Can't help but feel like Wallace should have hit the target there. I've got to be honest, chance after chance. We are on key highlights. For a second I thought it might have gone on to extended. It hasn't. We are just, well, having a lot of breakthroughs and a lot of opportunities here. We'll hope that that can continue and maybe we could convert a few more of them. High pressure up the pitch. The ball with Romero goes to Memphis. Dispossessed. Got to be maybe a little wary of being hit on the counter here. Nîmes, they've not done a great deal, but they're breaking in numbers here. Lengler, what a tackle that is. We will hope for more of the same from him. Of course, the big move in the summer, really, Lengler. Not a massive fee paid for him, but given what he's coming to do, you'd hope he can hit the ground running. And well, Traore, that's a weird goal, isn't it? I mean, it's great. It's a different goal scorer again. And I mean, I want to credit ourselves because we've applied pressure higher up the pitch, but ultimately it's a fortuitous bounce off a poor clearance by Vorm, who's had an absolute Western supermare there. And you can see Traore tucks it in at the near post. Keeper, I don't know if he could have got back into position a little quicker. I'm not going to complain. Perhaps an element of fortune about that, but 3 goals in 11 minutes. And we don't look done. This is how I wanted to start the season, absolutely merciless. Traore runs through Vorm. I mean, he's not looking particularly convincing in goal, is he? If I was a Nîmes fan, I might be calling for the manager to sub him off. He's really not looked great. Set piece here, Traore narrowly wide. Was actually offside in the end there, unfortunately. 35 minutes gone, another chance. I'm losing count of the opportunities here. Is that inside or outside the box? We are going to go to VAR. We're going to consult it. What's he going to say? I'm doing the VAR sign with my hand. I can't stop it. Please send help. What is the VAR going to say? Was it inside or outside the box? My gut instinct was outside the box. Let's find out. It did happen outside the box. We're still lethal from these kind of free kicks, although on this occasion we're not going to get a highlight out of it. I was almost half anticipating us still to score from it, given how this half's gone. If we could get a 4th before half-time, it would be ideal. You'd have to say we probably deserve it on the balance of play. We've torn them a new one in this half. Not really sparing them at all by playing our strongest team. And Memphis not far wide of the mark with that long-range effort. Hit it hard and true. Unfortunately, the wrong side of the post. But at half-time, 3-0. Pretty much the perfect start to the season. Minus the fact we perhaps squandered a few good opportunities. I'm going to tell the players I'm happy with the performance. Part of me is tempted at this point to bring in the likes of Terrier and Rashford and just give them first-team football to bolster their confidence. You know what? I'm going to bring in Terrier for Dembele up front. Terrier, last year, as I said, he got European Golden Boy. First half of last season was top-notch, a standout performer out on the left-hand side. As Memphis Depay got his fitness back and came back from injury, perhaps his opportunities were more limited, but when we did give him chances, he didn't really shine. This year, I feel like he might play a role as a bit more of a striker for us, as well as being a very good backup option out wide on the left-hand side. And I feel like this is a good kind of game for him to come into. Low pressure, low expectations. Let's see if we can get that early goal to start his season, and we'll kickstart it, hopefully, into a similar gear to how he started last year, because he was top-notch for us, Terrier. He was a fan favourite, and he kind of fizzled out a little bit. We'll see what he can do. We're on the attack. Memphis, clean through. It might be offside. My gut instinct was this was offside. We'll wait for VAR to be reviewing it. I think this is going to be ruled out. Indeed, it is. Fekir thought he had another assist. I mean, from that angle, it looks very, very tight. I think Memphis probably was offside. Worth noting, of course, if you don't know, the 3D match engine is not representative of what the game actually thinks. If you don't know, at least my understanding is the way that the 3D match engine works is it essentially maps animations onto the 2D dots, but sometimes the animations, they don't quite line up for whatever reason. That's why sometimes you might see like a keeper make a save where they don't look like they're touching the ball, or a keeper do a save that just looks funky. It's because in 2D it's going to a certain spot and the game has to work out an animation to fill that gap. I think that's my understanding of it. We've got a penalty whilst I ramble on about the difference between 2D and 3D, which might be wrong. Don't take my word as gospel. I think that's how it works. We have a chance here for Kier. First goal of the season, no nonsense, he scores it. I thought he'd missed it. I thought I'd talked too soon. I didn't, he scored it. It was never in doubt. I mean, perfect. Now if Terrier could get a goal, we can all go home happy as far as I'm concerned. Or, I mean, Romero wants to go home now. He's got his goal. He thinks he's done the business. He's sent off. Well, we're down a man. Not ideal. I'll be completely transparent with you. Not what I was hoping to have to deal with here. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Just realised as well. Have we been playing the new tactic by accident? If you can't remember, end of last episode, I talked about, going for a more attacking direct system. Maybe I should deploy it more often, because it seems to have worked here without me even realising I had it on. That's a little bit embarrassing, the fact I didn't spot that. Of course, it's very similar to our other system. It's just a bit more direct, a little bit less controlled. In this match, it's worked wonders. Maybe I'm a tactical genius. But, well, I'm pleasantly surprised at the fact it's worked so well. Assuming we've been playing it, I guess we have. Awkward. I mean, maybe this is a system, of course, that we were setting up last episode. If you missed it, obviously you can go find out a little bit more about it. But basically, the tactical system was about creating a tactic that's a bit more attacking for games where we might have drawn last year. Because we looked at kind of the results last year. There were games where we probably needed to go more attacking and we didn't. And I kind of wanted a tactic that was a plan B. Previously, obviously, we had like a counter-attacking system we set up at the start of last season that we just didn't use all year. So we kind of just replaced that. It's worked today. Of course, the issue with, I say the issue, one of the challenges sounds better, one of the challenges with doing this 100% live is sometimes I'm focusing too much on what I'm saying as opposed to what I'm doing. We already had that when we screwed up the contract negotiations last year. There we go, Terrier scores. We've lost the clean sheet, but Terrier, we can all go home happy now. But no, as I was saying, one of the issues with Lyon Live is that there's just times where I miss stuff or I misread stuff because I'm thinking about what I'm saying. I could spend hours, looking for regens and tinkering with tactics, and I don't necessarily think it makes for the best videos. There's times where, I do play a little bit quicker than I would normally, and it does make me make mistakes and miss stuff like I've done today with this tactical system change. But it's worked out this time, so I'm going to take full credit and claim I'm a genius. Brest are 2-0 up. We've got them next game. They are a newly promoted side, predicted to finish second from bottom, but off to a dream start this season. I did notice that our own player Shadas is on, the worst rating, I think, on their entire team. Not a great sign, But maybe he's just being, a bit of an undercover agent for us. He's infiltrated them. He's throwing from the inside. I mean, it's been chance after chance, hasn't it? There's another one here. Nîmes on the attack here, potentially. Of course, we are down a man. We're playing without that advanced playmaker now. So we are lacking perhaps a bit of a link-up man in the team. And, well, maybe a little bit defensively as well as Renaud Repart scores. 5-2. I mean, it's been an entertaining first game. It's been a really long game. I'm going to skip that highlight. There's just been lots of highlights. Another one here. Memphis hits it. I mean, that was not a bad effort, to be fair. 15 minutes left in this. Let's bring in Rashford. I'm going to bring him in for Memphis. And Ndombele come off for Aouar. Let's just get some of the younger players some first team football and hopefully, just build up a little bit of match fitness as well. That would be a good thing to do. One thing that might be worth me checking is if my reserve team have got fixtures. Of course, last year we had to organise a load of friendlies because it just stopped working. Not great. In terms of, I had my assistant set to set up friendlies and he just wasn't doing it because he's lazy. Shadas, our own player, bringing the ball forward here. I mean, don't do it. Stop it. He threads it through. It's a decent effort. Good save by Lopez. It was offside, actually, so he didn't have to make the save. But it looked good. It was one for the cameras. That can be used on the back page of the newspaper to sum up this 5-2. It's a good start to the year. They're sending off for Lucas Romero. A little bit of a pain. Lucas Romero is very much that stereotypical defensive South American kind of midfielder. A bit of a terrier in the midfield who's known for bending the rules a little bit. Terrier ends his goal drought. He'd previously gone 11 minutes without a goal, 11 matches without a goal. 11 minutes wouldn't be much of a goal drought now, would it? You can see here, Cornet played 32 minutes for Nice and got a goal. Played as a complete forward for them. And also, Konate played the full game for Lille, and he had a pretty good game too. Good to see our loanees doing well. Shadas, on the other hand, yeah, one to forget. Although he was playing against us, so maybe I can give him a little bit of a pass for that one. Anyway, let's sort out our team here. Toussaint should be back, but Romero's going to be suspended, so we are going to bring in Glenn Kamara to be that backup player. As I said, our reserve team needs some friendlies organised. It looks like our assistant has actually been organising them on a game-by-game basis. I noticed there he's organised a game against Bastia. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Bastia were they were a pretty big team in France. They're kind of a big fish in a small pond. Yeah, you can see here they got relegated loads of leagues. I guess they came into financial problems. They do occasionally produce really good regens. So they're a team that's worth checking out. It looks like, to be honest here, they've not got great regens. This guy looks okay, I guess. We might as well get a scout report on him. Is there any new youngsters in the French under-20s or under-19s who we haven't had our eye on already? Does not look like it, at least right now. Of course, we brought in Auger and Voisin Verdier based off the fact that we saw them playing in the under-19s at the age of 15. They are two very standout players in this team. I have high hopes for them. I think they could be very, very good youngsters for us going forward. Of course, we have got, some very good players in the team as well. We also signed Felly at the start of the summer transfer window, you might remember. Feel like he kind of got forgotten about a little bit. And of course, we have got, our big hot prospects. You can see here, Abul, geez, he's improved a lot. He's out with a hamstring strain at the moment, but his improvement has been mental. More of that, please, Laurie. And also, Elian Durand, he's improving a lot as well. I mean, if these youngsters can continue to improve at the rate they are, at least right now, I'm pretty excited about the future of that team here. It could be a very, very good team. Of course, a few real players as well playing in our under-18s, like Jovan Markovic. High hopes for him going forward. And also Titouan Thomas. He looks good. He looks good. Can he live up to his potential? Remains to be seen a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, we've got a game against Brest coming up next. I'm almost certain that's not how you say the team's name, but I'm just going to call them Brest because it amuses me because I have immature humour. Of course, Gravenberch is going to go on loan here to Auxerre. Good for his development. Regular first team football. Can't complain at all about that. Transfer window is still open, so if offers come in for our players, we might have to weigh them up. Fakir has had a little bit of interest shown in him. Given how he's starting the season and the fact we are now into the season, I'd rather not sell him at this point. But obviously, if the right offer came in, it'd be difficult not to let him go. Guiri's had an offer from Clermont. Don't think we're going to go with that. Of course, Guiri started the kind of save game with a really long-term serious injury. He's actually, I think, quite a hot prospect for Lyon in real life. He looks very, very good as well. We'll have to see how he develops over the course of the year, I think. Okay, we can't loan out DJ because we've hit the limit. I did not know there was a limit for domestic loan-based clubs. We have 7 players out on loan to teams in our division, so I'm sorry DJ, you're going to have to stay in the team, which isn't the worst bit of news for us because I feel like I can find a spot for him in the team, to be fair, as a bit of a backup player. Although I think it's probably in his interest, alongside perhaps Denea, Olmo, Nanon as well, and probably Papa Cech, Trinket. There's a few players that fall into this category. These guys here who I've got highlighted, players who I actually think we can make available for the reserves just on an ongoing basis. Make sure they're playing regular first team football. Keep their development going. You can see PSG starting the season with a loss. Yes, to lose. That's what I want to see to start the year. PSG did not slip up last year. Maybe this year can be different. Maybe this year's the year where they do slip up and we can take advantage. That's what I choose to believe. Nantes have signed Adel Taarabt. Is Taarabt still going? He's only 30. I mean, he's 29 in real life then. He feels like a player who's just been around for years. I mean, look how many different teams he's played for. What an interesting career this man has led. He's one of those players who does he still have attitude problems? I think it said he played for Bordeaux there in real life. If you're a Bordeaux fan, how has Taarabt been? If he's at Bordeaux in real life, that might be a transfer that happened in FM terms. But yeah, he's just a player. I'm going to be honest, one of those players who I just forgot existed. But he does. Olmo doing good in training is nice to see. Perhaps not a good enough rating to be worthy of praise, but definitely worth noting down. And while we take on Brest, 1st versus 6th. Dembele's been linked with a move to Sevilla. He's kicking up a fuss about wanting to leave. Unless Sevilla have £80 million laying around, they are going to struggle to be able to afford him. Anyway, we've got a game here against Brest. We're at home for it. In terms of team selection, we have the same team. Do we want to play the same system again? Of course, this is the system we used last year, just as a bit of a recap. I want to say it's a more conservative 4-2-3-1. In terms of the inside forwards playing supports, they drop back a little bit more. Fekir a bit more involved in the attacking play. And of course, a positive mentality rather than attacking. Whereas this system, the inside forwards and wing backs really encouraged to get forward more. The defensive midfielder, the ball winner, is set to support rather than defend. Fekir, however, is set to support, so he, drops in a little bit more. And just in general, it's a little bit more direct, a little bit less passing it out from the back. I mean, it worked well last time out. I definitely feel like controlling the game probably is how I'd like to approach games against better teams. But against teams like Brest, where I anticipate them to sit back a little bit more against us, as you can see here, that's exactly what they're going to do. I feel like playing this more direct attacking style of play from the off probably isn't the worst idea in the world. Last year, there were just a few games where we struggled to break teams down. And as good as our defensive record was last year, where we came unstuck was just games where you'd expect us to score a few and failing to do so. I'm always someone who, in Football Manager terms, thinks attack is just the best form of defence. I'd rather always play attacking, always play positively. Even if I'm a smaller team, I'd rather, try and seize play. Be, proactive rather than reactive to whatever's going on the pitch. And we're going to try that again here. We might be going to VAR here. I don't know why this would be disallowed. We'll find out if it's going to be, I guess. I think it's been given. So Fekir with the ball in. Lenglet wins the header, and it just goes to Dembele, who nods it in. I mean, a good little goal. I'm not sure. I guess they were looking at a potential offside. It wasn't given. Perfect start to the game for us. Lenglet, I don't know if he got given the assist. He got the assist in my heart, though. And that's what really matters. Good to see Dembele get his first goal of the season. And we'll end on Ndombele having his own effort. I mean, one thing to note immediately, it feels like, with this more attacking system is we seem to just have more highlights. Maybe I'm saying that a little bit too early in this game, but that last match, I don't think we've had as many highlights in a game in the entirety of last season as we did against Nîmes last time out. We're on the attack again here. Moreno rather, with the ball in, and Bertrand Traoré with the goal this time. Great to see that overlap working. With our inside forwards being on attack in this system, we are going to see them get into the box a lot more. I mean, you can see here, just with this, Moreno's moving on forward. Out on the right-hand side, I noticed the right-back was moving on forward just earlier. You can see, obviously, Dembele as the striker is here, but Memphis Depay as an inside forward on attack is already in the final third. He's already, basically preoccupying the fullback, and it just creates a lot more space for Moreno to run into. And, of course, Traoré as the other inside forward is in the box as well. I feel like, attacking-wise, maybe the shape suits us better. Maybe, having the centre attacking mid be on support and the wide men on attack is just going to work better for us. It means there's going to be a lot more movement in the final third ahead of Fekir. He's going to have to hold the ball up a little bit less because last year he was playing on attack and the inside forwards on support kind of had to make up ground. This year, he's going to drop a little bit deeper at times, but you can see the players are already in position around him. And, well, what a finish that is. Nabil Fekir. A venomous effort that the keeper could not keep hold of. Kind of just opened up for him. And he sledgehammers it home. 3-0. I mean, this is the start to the season that I wanted to see. We look very, very good right now. Maybe I've struck gold with this system. Sometimes tactics just click, Sometimes they just work. And, well, Traoré, not a bad effort by him. Early on last year, actually, in the season, we did get a lot of these 3 or 4 goal wins, and they kind of fizzled out as the year went on. So perhaps I don't want to get too overhyped about this. But at the same time, I'm feeling very optimistic about this as a tactic that we can use when we chase games. We're seeing against weaker opposition, it's cutting them open. We're having a lot of shots and a lot of chances. Whether or not it's something that I could look to deploy against the likes of Marseille, Monaco and PSG, I'm not so sure about that. But we may well have to give it a go. Of course, Monaco on the horizon, just 2 games away after this one. I've got to have one eye, I guess, cast forward to that game. But at least right now, I've got to just enjoy the football that's been on offer. We've been top draw here. I was about to make some tactical changes, then a replay started. I'm still going to go with them. I'm going to bring in Saint-Maximin, who didn't play the last game, in. I'm also going to bring in, I think we'll bring in Rashford, actually, for Dembele in the final third as a striker. Would like to get Rashford just a little bit of first-team football. I think he could be a pretty good striker for us this year. And it'd be good to get him a goal early on. In a game like this, it might be an ideal opportunity to get him on the pitch, see if he can just have an impact. And while Traoré probably should have scored there. He was offside, actually, so we don't have to worry about it quite so much. Ball whipped in. Wallace with the nod down. Unfortunately, the offside flag denies us. As did their goalkeeper, to be fair. It wasn't the best effort by Traoré. Anyway, Rashford down this right-hand side. Nice switcher played to Saint-Maximin, fresh off the bench. Can he finish this? He probably should have finished it. He didn't. Saint-Maximin on his weaker foot there, his left peg, just couldn't get it past the keeper. Fekir to the edge of the box. It's Toussaint, not Lucas Romero today. It kind of showed in the effort, didn't it? Toussaint, I do feel like, is a little less creative than Romero. Equally as keen to get in a tackle, though, as you saw there. Absolutely murdered the Brest player from behind. Anyway, we've got one last change we can do here. Terrier had a great game last time out, so I'm going to bring him in for Fekir. Save Fekir's legs just a little bit. We might as well. And, just give Terrier a bit of first-team football as an attacking midfielder for us, I think. Just to see how he gets on. Nîmes 3-3 against Toulouse. I mean, Nîmes' games to start the year have been entertaining. They've had plenty of games between this game that you can see there, the 3-3, and the result against us. They're going to get a second yellow card here for their player. Brest down to 10 men. Fortunately for them, only 2 minutes left. So they're probably going to get away with it, and it's not going to be the end of the world for them. But, what a performance that is again. Obviously, all the goals came early on. Perhaps took our foot off the gas a little bit in the second half. However, hard not to be able to complain about that, isn't it? It's another very, very good win. Another 3-goal margin victory. Dijon, the next team we're going to be taking on today. Looking at their pre-season prediction, they were predicted to finish 15th. So, Definitely a kind start to the season, but we can only beat the opposition put in front of us. Shadas had a bit of a better game, played the full match. Lille beat PSG. Lille beat PSG lost their first 2 games of the season. I mean, wow. I mean, the points gap is only 6. I say only because PSG are good enough to kind of turn that around. I mean, in the entirety of last season, PSG lost 2 matches. One was against us, one was against Marseille. They start the season with 2 losses in a row, having spent £150 million. We've had easier games, but we've won them both. I mean, that's huge. The door is open. We now have to take this opportunity. This season, I said last year, I felt like we were really unfortunate for, the fact that PSG really just didn't slip up at all. They've slipped up twice early on here. We've got to capitalise. I'm going to ask for a bigger wage budget here, just to see if we can get some extra money to spend. I'm going to make sure this slider is more on transfer budget than wage budget. I actually don't know if readjusting this before making the request makes a difference, but it's something that I always look to do, is to make the wage budget or transfer budget as small as possible before making a request. I actually don't know if it makes a difference at all. Anyway, I'm going to nag our board, but they don't care. They don't want to give me any money. Feels bad. I really thought they would cave then, actually, but they just didn't. They just didn't want to give me that extra wage budget, unfortunately. I mean, Dijon next. Can PSG lose for a 3rd game in a row? That would be ideal. I mean, I feel like it's a little much to ask for, isn't it? They've lost 2 games 1-0. I'm kind of curious, actually, to check. Those games they've lost 1-0. Did they play well in them? Okay, the game against Toulouse, they probably were the better team. Against Lille away from home, again, probably were the better team, but Lille did the business. Can we just discuss the fact that Konaté got a 7.0? Well played, Konaté, my son. Good to see him out on loan doing well. We didn't have all the loan reports come in, and I kind of got distracted by, by the results, because it kind of stood out, didn't it? How did Shadas do? He got the 6.6. Konaté. Did our other players out on loan not play? I guess they didn't. We'll be keeping a close eye on a lot of the players we've loaned out this year, because I'm pretty hopeful they're going to play regular football. Markovic here. Has he been playing? He's played both games. We should get match reports from Gerard Houllier on him. Who else? Maxi, we should definitely get some match reports on. In fact, we already are getting them for him. Mario Ferreira, I would like to get reports on you. It's just good to keep tabs on our players, especially the younger ones. Make sure they're playing regularly. Marin hasn't played for Dijon yet in the first 2 games of the season. I thought we sent him there to play regular first team football. Maybe we didn't. Pino has gone to this team, VAFC. I'm not going to try and say that team's name, although it doesn't look as complicated as I first feared. I just don't want to butcher the French language any more than already necessary. And Konaté, we already have the reports on him. I mean, Konaté, good start to your loan. I have high hopes for Konaté going forward. I feel like Lille, I mean, they're second in the league at the moment behind us. I like them. Napoli have made a loan offer for Dembele. I'm not sure why they'd ever think he's available for loan, but, well, Napoli, I hate to break it to you. He's unavailable for loan. So, yeah, apologies. I'm still a little fearful that we're going to have a monstrous offer coming for one of our players in the last 2 weeks of the window here, and I don't know what we'll do. Marseille have taken this guy, Slimani, on loan. Not on loan, on trial. We'll get a scout report because I'm curious to see how good he is. Sevilla fans apparently do want to sign Dembele. I just don't know if Sevilla have £80 million. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just don't think they can quite match the valuation. Mario Ferreira. Going to be interesting to see how this guy gets on. He's a player who has a lot of potential, but he's not got the craziest current ability, but he's very, very well-rounded. So maybe he can just crack on and perform well. Of course, still got the auto saves on, just so we don't lose any progress as we go through, although Truth be told, if my PC was just a blue screen now midway through an episode, I would probably just play back from the start rather than cut out the matches. Because obviously I could... Actually, that's a question for you. If my PC did blue screen, please don't. Would you think it'd be better for me just to load the save game from the start of the episode, or would it be better to just say PC blue screen and continue on from an auto save if I had one? Anyway, we've got a few offers here. Napoli have offered 34 million for Dembele. It's just not a good offer. And then Milan have offered to loan Ndombele with a mandatory future fee of 25 million. Yeah, no, thank you. Ndombele, I do want to keep hold of this guy, but his wage demands are mental. It's kind of a similar situation to Toussaint, where it's like, look, I want to keep you on, but I mean, his demands are just, I can't match them. I cannot match those demands. He wants way too much money. Milan are making some offers. They're not particularly great offers. I suggested £80 million. They did actually counter offer. I feel like I want more than Milan can actually afford here. They've offered 33 million for Ndombele. I feel like there's not many 22-year-old box-to-box midfielders who are very, very consistent like he is. We don't really have a reason to sell him at all. Of all the positions, I feel like he'd be tougher to replace than, say, one of our more attacking wide men. Toussaint, can you resolve this issue, please? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Toussaint. Toussaint is like vice captain this year. For me, he's quickly becoming my favourite player. He's a bit of a Roy Keane in the dressing room. That's how I like to imagine him. A 22-year-old Roy Keane. I do wonder with Ndombele apparently happy to stay, if maybe he'd sign a new contract. Unfortunately, because of the previous breakdowns, he isn't. Maybe when the transfer window closes and players aren't trying to force moves, he might be a more realistic player that we can perhaps renew the contract on without having to pay quite so much. Saint Etienne v PSG is an interesting one. Saint Etienne, where are you predicted to finish? They are our rivals. They're predicted to finish 7th. At home against PSG, they might fancy themselves given PSG's start to the year. In terms of our team, I think we're just going to go with the same 11 again. Maybe I could bring in like Mendy. Maybe I bring in Mendy for today's game at left back, just to give him a bit of game time. But I mean, when you look at it, the players who we've played so far have all done pretty well. Dembele's got a goal and an assist. Depay's got a goal and an assist. Fekir's got 2 goals and an assist. Bertrand Traore started this year how he finished last year, 2 goals and 2 assists for him. Obviously, Mendy's just a good player to bring in. I feel like him and Moreno at left-back is perhaps the most competitive area of the pitch. But then even for Moreno, he's on a 7.45 average rating to start the year. He's done very, very well to start things off. Dembele's not got the craziest average rating, but we subbed him off early in both games, so I can't really complain too much with his average rating. We'll have to see how we get on here. They are playing a pretty conservative system on the face of things. Dijon have started the season okay. They're not going to be pushovers, but given the two teams' league positions, you'd expect to do well. Probably last year, this would have been one of those games where I played a more controlling style of play, but given how well we've started the year with this current system, I want to persist with it again. I want to see how far it can take us. And well, immediately we're on the attack. I mean, it's been highlight after highlight after highlight today. It's going to be a longer episode because we've still got that Monaco game to play as well, potentially. We'll have to see how we're getting on because I'm conscious of the fact we're already up to 43 minutes. We'll see how long the game today lasts. I will apologise in advance now if we don't do the Monaco game after I've said we would, but I'm sure you can appreciate, given the circumstances, it's just been a longer episode today. Anyway, we've got weather an early storm here. They had a pretty good opportunity. Lopez in goal, called into action early on. Made a good stop, to be fair to him. What can we do here? Ndombele, happy to stay at the club, at least for now, allegedly, to Memphis, who hits it, saved, rebound, hits the crossbar, rebound maybe, probably could have scored that one. Memphis with 3 efforts in a matter of 3 seconds. Unfortunately, they weren't the best efforts, were they? Probably should have scored with the rebound, and now they have a set piece. PSG are losing. PSG are losing. Can we get an alert? And so are Monaco. Right, we really need to win this now. So far, we've been massively on top, but Dijon have had a few opportunities. Fekir is indicating to come off with a tight hamstring. Normally, I wouldn't take him off because it doesn't actually look like he's got the injury, but given that we're playing pretty well without relying on Fekir and the fact we've got Monaco coming up, I don't really want to risk a key player like Fekir. I feel like Aouar has a bit of a point to prove. Coming into this game, I do see him as kind of the mini Fekir. So it's a test for him now. Can he, live up to the hype? PSG have drawn level against Saint Etienne. We'd be expecting too much of our rivals, I feel like, to do us a favour, wouldn't it, really? Half-time here, 0-0. Not good, really. Dembele's not played particularly great up front. We'll hope that he can have a better start to the half. Of course, players that we have on the bench have already had impacts this season. I'm looking at Terrier, really. St. Maximin as well, a player who I definitely think can come on in this kind of game. Given the fact we've taken off Fekir, I'm hesitant to make, a double sub too early on here. But with an hour gone, I think it's time to make a move. And I think that move is going to be to bring in Terrier. I'm going to bring him in for Dembele. With us taking off Fekir, I do want to keep a set-piece specialist on the pitch. And Depay, Memphis, he kind of is that man for us. The only downside with this more attacking system is I don't really have an easy way to go more attacking without me feeling uncomfortable with the overall team balance. Chris Smalling has scored for Monaco. That's not something I thought I'd say at the start of this episode, but it's happened. They are now even. I haven't seen any updates with the PSG score. Tete, back post, whips it in. Toussaint nods it. Memphis, that's why we kept you on. That's why we kept you on. I mean, we kept you on for set pieces, but it was a good finish, wasn't it? Second goal of the season for him. I mean, again, much like last year, it feels like it's been a pretty even spread of goal scorers to start the year. Nice build-up play. Toussaint, lovely header. And not a bad finish at all by Memphis into that bottom corner. Hit it hard. Hit it true. Memphis now, set piece. Just over the crossbar. It would have been right on cue if he could have scored that set piece, wouldn't it, really, after I said we wanted to keep him on. He's gone from being one of the worst performers on the pitch to one of the best. 10 minutes left in this game. Bertrand Traoré is not the best of matches, so we're going to take him off and bring in St. Maximin, as Wallace has a header that goes wide. We've not had the impact from Wallace that I was hoping we'd have. In terms of, I'm used to him scoring or assisting from set pieces. Maybe he's going to hear me and make up for lost time by getting one here. But, well, we're on the attack. That was an interesting tackle from behind. I thought it was going to be a red card, but he did actually win the ball. Dijon, of course, only a goal down here. Still very much in this game. And it's Seaman, our former player, bringing it forward. Plays the ball through and we're hit on the break. We've not created a great deal of opportunities this game, but Dijon pull even with 5 minutes left. Boys. I mean, is it time to panic? Debatably. In terms of what we're going to do, we're going to go even more direct. Hit early crosses, please. We need to get the ball into the mixer and quickly. Not ideal. Toussaint, don't get sent off. Don't do anything stupid. Please. 3 minutes left in this game. We need a goal. I mean, a draw here is really poor. But it would feel a lot worse if it wasn't for the fact that PSG have lost their first 2 games of the year. And I'm hoping they drew again here. Oh my god. Oh my god. Have Saint Etienne just equalised? They did, but then Mbappe scored in the 91st minute to get them a win. Oh, I thought that they had screwed up again. You are not good enough tonight, boys. That was really poor. I think I have to take some of the blame for taking off Fekir. He probably could have played through the tight hamstring, but I did want to kind of just protect him a little bit. Depay gets man of the match and shines. Markovic, 7.4 rating. Very, very good for him. Auxerre winning. Hopefully this guy is just going to be a massive part of their first team. Decent average rating. I've got high hopes that Markovic and Kanate are going to go out on loan this year and really break through. Oh, that's such a shame. Saint Etienne, I thought they'd actually pulled it off for us. And they scored in the 88th minute. But Mbappe breaking hearts with a 91st minute winner. I did not mean to hit play on their game. I was hitting spacebar to continue. I don't want to watch Mbappe score a 91st minute goal. Thank you very much, Football Manager. as much as I appreciate that offer. Dembele didn't have the best game though. I noticed it said he had 0 chances. I do feel like Aouar perhaps was a mistake. I will take the blame for that loss. That is on me. It's hard to know whether or not, keeping on Fekir would have changed the game drastically. I have no doubt he would have contributed more going forward. I just didn't want to risk an injury. I thought we had enough quality in our team to get through that kind of challenge against Dijon, where perhaps they are going to try and make us break them down. But unfortunately, we did not. Trincão's got pulled knee ligaments. That is not ideal for him. I do want to check actually that our reserves are still playing games and that our assistant has gone back to arranging friendlies every week. Indeed, it looks like he has, so that's good news. Papa Cech is talking about leaving the team due to lack of first-team football. See, this guy's squad status is hot prospect. I do like him. I just think we've got better players. Fortunately, Fekir has talked some sense into him, which is a relief. Anyway, we will do the Monaco game today. It's going to be a longer episode. I do hope you guys have enjoyed. Obviously, we've been doing the series daily. I'm going to be honest. I don't know how maintainable that is longer term in terms of... I'm in a dilemma. I'll talk about the dilemma, I guess. The dilemma is that I enjoy doing daily episodes for you guys, but there are days where I don't feel like recording. Or maybe I don't feel like I'm in... full of energy to record. Maybe I've had a long day at work. Maybe I've just been busy with real life stuff. And it's kind of difficult to find just, 45 minutes to sit down and record a video. At the same time, I could record a backlog, but I really just enjoy the live interaction with you guys. Obviously, on Monday this week, we didn't have an episode and loads of people did write in the network game, where's Lyon? I understand you guys want your daily fix the save. But it does pose a dilemma. So I'd be curious to know, would you rather have daily content with perhaps less direct interaction, episode to episode, or the off day here and there? And we're not talking about scaling down the series to 3 days a week or anything, but it might just be that I maybe work to a bit more of a schedule where maybe during the week, like on a Wednesday or Thursday, I just have a day off, essentially, where we just have a gap day. Maybe gives you guys an opportunity to catch up on the series. I'd be curious to know your thoughts if you're a regular viewer. Anyway, we have Monaco here. And I'm now wondering to myself, what do I want to do? Do I want to play the attacking system? Do I want to play the conservative kind of controlling the game system? Or do I want to play the 5-man midfield system? And I think actually to start today's game, I want to try playing the 5-man midfield system. It served us pretty well last year on a number of occasions. Given how attacking Monaco's midfield has been in this save game, and indeed it looks like it's going to be more of the same here, between Golovin and Yuri Tielemans, they've not got the craziest centre-mid kind of pairing defensively. Maybe we can punish them there, but their attacking talent is something that we have to be wary of and that we do have to fear a little bit. And so I do fancy us just to crowd out the midfield. Last year we only lost 2 league games, so we proved last year that these kind of games we make ourselves hard to beat in. But, and it's a bit of a but, I would like to try and win these games and play positive. I just don't think we're quite good enough to play attacking away from home against Monaco, so I think positive is perhaps the way to go here. Of course, we'll react. We'll see how this game plays out. If we struggle for possession, maybe we'll go to more possession orientated. If we're struggling to create stuff just in general, maybe to go more attacking and direct is the way to go. But as much as the attacking direct system has worked to start the year, I think to start this game, we're going to go with what we know works in these kind of matches, and this did work for us last year. We're on the attack. Lovely build-up play, might I add. This could be a really nice goal if there's an end product. Unfortunately, Ndombele's effort blocked, and now Falcao trying to hold up the play. Lots of players on the attack. Ball back post. Lopez's positioning at the back was questionable. And, you might have noticed in the top left there, PSG are winning 3-0 against Brest after 6 minutes. So their slow start to the season might be coming to a rather abrupt end. And with that in mind, we need to avoid defeat here. Granted, you'd probably argue that this is one of the trickiest games of the season. I'd say behind PSG away, this is probably the second hardest game of the year. Not that that is any justification for going a goal down so early on in this match. Early on here, we're having a fair amount of possession, but they are hitting the... Well, they are just hitting the target a bit. They hit us on the break once. I don't want to make too many reactionary changes just yet, but I am mindful of the fact that we're having a lot of the ball without doing a great deal with it, and I do wonder if the lack of an attacking midfielder is contributing to that. So with that in mind, actually, I'm going to switch to our system that we used last year, most games, the kind of conservative, controlling 4-2-3-1. Also going to demand a bit more from our players. See how we get on in this game now. Changing things up a little bit of a risk, because I feel like we weren't being completely outclassed previously. At the same time, with us being a goal down and not creating a great deal, I think having the advanced playmaker, kind of player in Fekir higher up the pitch is probably just a smart move. Anyway, they're on the attack again here. Chris Smalling bringing the ball forward. Now with Jorge, the left back. What are they going to do here? Gives it to Chadley. Ziyech, edge of the box. Golovin might hit it. Does hit it. Lovely finish. What do you do? What do you do? Do you go more attacking at this point? Is it too soon? I feel like it's a little bit too soon. But 2 goals down here at home against Monaco. Not how I wanted to end today's episode. After starting the game superbly, to get 1 point from Dijon and Monaco would be disappointing. The draw is more disappointing than losing this game. But the goal that we set ourselves at the start of the episode to match last year's points total is going to be very challenging given this start to the season. We need to book up our ideas and fast. And while we might have a bit of a gift back into this, Traore to Dembele hits it, tucks it away. 2-1, a goal before half-time. Perhaps a little bit of a sucker punch, because it did kind of come from a bit of a fortuitous bit of play here. Christian Pavon with a questionable pass at the back. But we did punish them well, and a nice tidy finish by Moussa Dembele. On balance, I feel like we're a tiny bit unfortunate to be a goal down in this game. They've had, the one clear-cut chance of this game, but when you look at the shots and possession, it's been a pretty even fixture. Right now, that long-range effort by Golovin has really been the difference maker. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players here to show me something different in the second half. I'm a little bit concerned about Toussaint's booking and the fact he's not played particularly well, so we're going to bring in Lucas Romero there. Additionally, Depay out on the left hasn't played that great. To be honest, the whole team's been pretty poor when it comes to the rating, so I don't want to go too overboard with changes, but just in terms of avoiding a sending off, I feel like I do have to take off Toussaint here just to play it safe. We are ball-winning midfielder, especially against a team like Monaco. They have to put in tackles. They're going to be expected to do it against the flair players that they have. And, well, I don't want Toussaint walking on a tightrope. So with that in mind, we're going to make that change. Anyway, a highlight for us here. We did have one just a second ago. It was a missed set piece by Memphis. Maybe we can have a bit more luck here as it falls to Moreno. Gives it to Lucas Romero. Now with Ndombele, Traore. Can we find an effort? Tete, lots of options queued up. Memphis is there. Memphis scores. We turn it around. Lovely finish. I think we deserve that on the balance of play. It's a 3rd goal of the season for him. And, lovely build-up play. And Kenny Tete at right back on the overlap. Nice bit of hold-up play. Patient play, allowing our players to manoeuvre into the final third. And while you'd have to say Memphis's effort there wasn't the most, it wasn't the most flashy, wasn't particularly clinical, but it's gone in and that's what matters. Fekir. I mean, what do you say? 2 goals down to 3 goals up. Nabil Fekir steps up on that left peg of his. What a free kick that is into the top corner. Keeper has no chance. A moment of quality and class. And well, maybe, just maybe, I should have played the 4-2-3-1 with the controlling style of play from the off here instead of trying to crowd out the midfield. Traore's picked up an injury. That is a teeny bit concerning. I'm not going to pretend it's not. We'll bring in Saint Maximin there. We do also have one more sub that we could make. I feel like I just want to kind of hold on to it at the moment, just in case we do have another injury. Set piece here. If we could get a second, that would help me out. Pulling 2 goals ahead would just make me relax. We've got a chance here, maybe. Memphis, back to Dembele. Still players committed to the attack from the corner. Lucas Romero on his lonesome, but a player with a decent passing range. And next to play it safe to Moreno. Now with Ndombele, Fekir, have a go. Have a go. Not far wide at all. Not far wide at all. I know someone's going to be screaming in the comments, Jack, go more defensive, go more conservative. I went more conservative to start the game. We conceded 3. It might backfire on us spectacularly, but no. Obviously, it's easy to say in hindsight if they now score, well, you should have just, gone more defensive. But the reality is we played kind of a conservative style of play and it backfired spectacularly with us conceding 2. Granted, they are having a fair few chances here to end the game. One last change. We're going to take off Memphis. I'm going to bring in Terrier. Just give him the last 5 minutes of this game. 4 minutes left. Can we hold on? Terrier, lovely turn, bringing it forward with his fresh legs to Dembele. A 4 for us now would seal it. St. Maximin hits it, not far over. The former Monaco man would be desperate for a goal against his former club. 2 minutes left. Another chance. As long as they don't hit us on the counter, I'm going to be happy. But I am worried now as they bring the ball forward. It's going to be Chadley marauding forward. Switches the play to Christian Pavon. They have lots of players in the box. We don't deal with it at all. And it's Mario Pasalic with it. You'd say we were fortunate to be 3-2 up, given the fact we've not created a clear-cut chance. But that hurts just a little bit, doesn't it? Mario Pasalic with the goal. I'm not sure who that was at the back. It was Wallace, actually. I feel like he could have done a little bit better there. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not disappointed. Would I have taken 3-3 at kickoff against Monaco? You bet your butt I would have done. 3-3 is a great result, but given how things were going, it's hard not to feel a little disappointed that we only come away with a point at the end of the day. But I don't know. We're still unbeaten. We're still invincible. We could still do the Arsenal kind of 2003-2004 deal. And not many other teams in the division can say that, although Monaco are one of them, as are Nice. You can see Monaco have drawn their first 3 games of the season. 3 of their first 4 games of the season, of course. Everyone's kind of slipped up, including ourselves in that, really. I feel like Lille and Toulouse are going to be kind of a little bit surprised, perhaps, with how high they are in the league. Traore's out for 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, that minimises the risk of us losing him between now and the end of the transfer window. You can see here, Shadas, not the best game. He only played 7 minutes. Kanate, an 8.0 rating. I mean, he's looking like a star player for Lille, who are top of the league. It's a little bit concerning that he's playing so regularly for a team who are one of our big rivals. You can see Marin only mustering up 8 minutes. I'm hoping he's going to force himself into the first team and play more. Auxerre, on the other hand, playing Markovic. Good for them to obviously give him the first team football he needs. At least they're sticking to the loan agreement. Hopefully that is going to serve him well going forward. Anyway, we are going to be without Bertrand Traore for a little bit longer. In terms of the games we've got coming up, we've got Nantes, then we've got an international break, and then we've got Rennes, Champions League game, then we've got Monaco and Strasbourg. Some pretty big games coming up, to be honest. We started the season with some kind fixtures. We got plenty of goals, but defensively we've not looked particularly convincing. I'm hoping that is just down to some new players in the team, the likes of Lenglet, Moreno. Got to give them time. I will say, though, their average rating's pretty solid, all in all. Wallace, actually, on a 7.05, has been the disappointment of the season thus far. Hopefully he can still turn things around yet. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap up today's episode here. I do hope you've enjoyed a slightly longer one today. Longer matches, just the way it kind of panned out, I guess. I do hope to see you guys, of course, tomorrow. If you have enjoyed today's episode, do drop a like on it. It is massively, massively appreciated. And, well, I will catch you guys on the next one. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.